Jamie Soward, how you going, bro?
I'm good, brother.
Very, very happy to have you on. I haven't seen you in ages. Thanks for this, man. I really appreciate it. So much to talk about, bro. I mean, the last few years for you have been crazy. Like, literally, grand final to England, to Panthers, to, like, how's it been for you? Like, when you sit back and you think about these last few years, what's it been like for you?
Yeah, it's, I guess I've come full circle, really. And I started my career, 10 years ago and won a competition 5 years ago now, which seems forever and a day ago. But, I left the Dragons on pretty bad terms and I've come to the Panthers now. So I've found a new love for footy and an enjoyment that I'd probably been lacking for a little while. So
you spoke about the Dragons. You originally started at the Roosters, hey?
Yeah.
And that was, 8 years ago?
I debuted in 2005. So
Yep.
I played under 20s there in 2004.
Yep.
And then debuted 2005.
And what was because it seems like so long ago, but why did you go to Dragons? What was the initial, because it was a completely different coach then, and it would have been a completely different club when you originally went to the Dragons. Was it because you wanted regular first grade time, or what was the original kind of move to Dragons? What was the reasons behind it?
Yeah, I needed an opportunity to play first grade, and Dragons had come across and pretty much offered me that 2-year deal, and I went across and shook hands with Nathan Brown and went and played. So I think 1 week I was playing for the Roosters in first grade. I only played one game that year, and then went across to the Dragons. So it was a good move for me at the time. I really enjoyed it, and I was living in the Cogger area, so it was just a chance to play first grade. And
so it was Nathan Brown at the time. What was it like those first few years? You obviously you played good footy and you established yourself as a first grade footy player. But when Wayne came to the club, when you heard that was announced, what was that like for you? Knowing that he was, this super coach, already run, I think, 6 premierships. What was that like for you, knowing that he was coming down?
Yeah, actually, Wayne rang me middle of 2008. I hadn't been playing great, and I was actually in bed. I was quite nervous, and the phone rang, and he said, "Hey, it's Wayne Bennett." And I said, I was like, "Hello?" I jumped up, and I started sweating, and he's like, "I want you to be my 5'8" next year. Just keep playing. Just play this year out, get some confidence, and get ready, for next year." And I was like, okay. And he came to the club, and I guess I felt a sense of, someone wanted me in the team and was going to sort of just back me in how I played. And I don't play like other halves, I don't take the ball to the line like Thurston or, do other things like Cooper Cronk. I play how I play. So, when I heard Wayne was coming to the club and that he wanted me there, it was a massive opportunity for me, and it's paid off.
The crazy, what you said just then with Wayne, he rang you up and said to you, "I want you as my 5'8". A lot of people don't realise that means so much as a player. Like, I know personally, like, I went to a different club and I never really, at any other club, I never really got that confidence that Wayne had in me. And it's so crazy how good he is at really just, like, even off the bat with you, he was like already giving you a positive kind of, from the first time you kind of met him on whatever, you were already on a positive footing. Tell me what it was like for you with that kind of mental barrier that's took you from, playing okay footy in 08 to literally probably the best 5'8", one of the best in the comp.
Yeah, I think the 08 season was one of those years where we'd sort of struggled to make the 8, and it was, coming, Brownie knew he was on the way out, and then Wayne was coming to the club, and 09 was, I'd trained really hard in the off-season, and I just found the ball just always bouncing in my direction, and I guess, they always say you make your own luck, but, that year it was just, we had a really good team and we'd trained hard, and, Wayne had backed me, so I just felt invincible, and I was going into games, with a clear head, and as you know...
So crazy you say that. Like, I know exactly the feeling you're talking about with Wayne. It's just like you're going into the game and there's no, like, you have no doubt. There's no doubt. Whereas, like, with other coaches, as you kind of just said, like, sometimes you can feel a bit of doubt and you're feeling like, oh, shit, maybe. Whereas you said, like, you play your own game, and for him to back that, worked wonders.
Yeah, it did. And, 09, we went out the back door. But, personally, that was probably my best year. But I think after that, it was... I better take that.
All right, we'll take it back. He just got a call from Fox Sports. We'll be right back.
Brother?
We're currently recording Soward getting interviewed by
Are you
Fox
bagging
Sports.
me? Is that why they're laughing?
No.
Oh.
Tell them some filthy jokes.
Can you tell me the Rod Stewart one at the end?
Nah, no Rod Stewart tonight. Sammy.
That's Matty Johns on the phone right now.
Coming on, got him on the line, guys. He said, "Why everyone laughing? Just bagging me." I said, "No, let's just tell them filthy jokes." Are we chatting to Sowie? Yeah, Sowie, because we've got the coming up soon. We've got Sowie's. We've got the nudie run. Sowie might have to get his goal. Have you scored a try, Jamie?
No, I haven't, Brandy. I've only played about 8 games, so I haven't had many opportunities.
Oh, there it is. Hey, Sowie, do you mind if I tell that joke you told me?
Yeah, Fletch, of course you can, mate.
Tell me that. This is Sowie's joke, so he made it up. So this guy walks in a doctor's surgery and he says, Doc, I was wondering if I can... God, who you up, like?
Oh.
What they do out at Penrith, see? They do that sort of...
Oh, hey. Fletch, come on, man. We doing this? They lost me.
All right, we're back into our interview, which is way more important. Interview in an interview. Maybe you've put it off speaker.
Nah, don't ring back.
So was that live on the show just then?
Yeah, I'm live on Fox Sports at the moment.
We're in an inception right now. We're in a dream within a dream.
Yes, we are. Was that Leonardo DiCaprio in that movie?
Did he just call you?
No, it was Tom Hanks, wasn't it? Tom Cruise. Where he just goes into a dream, and then you pick a dream, a lucid dream, and go into another dream. I'll call back in a minute. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Fox Sports, whatever. The locker room's obviously more important, so...
100%.
We'll get probably about 1/20th of their views. So we just got... That was Matty Johns and...
Brian Fletcher and Nathan Hindmarsh. So
and that's on... What show's that on at the moment?
The Big Weekend.
The Big Weekend.
Yeah, so they preview all the games.
Yep.
I'm sure they'll call back. They're talking about this week. I haven't scored a try this year, so they're talking about they pick a player each week to get off their nudie, and they've picked me this week. So
what do you mean get off your nudie as in...
if you don't score a try, you do a nude run at the end of the year. But as you know, I regularly just get nude at the end of the year anyway. So I was like...
I've probably seen you nude. You've probably been the team's top try scorer, and yet you seem to get nude all the time. Like, guys, I didn't score a try this year. See how you scored 20 tries this year? What are you talking about? Boys, I didn't score. I'm just nude. I'm nude.
By the end of the year, usually I'm in shape, some sort of shape. You know, most pre-seasons I'm not in shape. So,
so we were talking about Wayne Bennett and bringing that form out. What about the feeling that 09 going into 10 and...
Sorry, bro.
It's all good. We'll
Fox
just
Sports, we're taking it live. We're just going to take it live.
Keep going. It's all good.
Hello. Hello.
Corrected, Brace. It was also a big day for Gordy, who was invited into Noah's box.
We're actually live on Fox Sports right now.
That's it. We're in a dream within a dream. I think your head's turning into DiCaprio.
The worst movie, wasn't it?
Didn't you like it? Inception.
Really?
I loved Inception.
I'm not thinking of Inception. I'm thinking of Vanilla Sky.
Yeah, Vanilla Sky. That was weird.
Worst movie ever.
Very, very weird.
It's good to see the Sharks in the final, isn't it?
I love Tom Cruise. Like, I know he's a weirdo. I know he's crazy, but honestly, his acting is second to none. Tom Cruise. He was the one in Vanilla Sky. That's what you're thinking.
I was thinking Vanilla
You were
Sky.
saying Tom Cruise. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I was thinking Tom Hanks because Brent Kites had like a castaway beard. I've been calling him Tom Hanks a lot.
Okay,
But I was thinking of Vanilla Sky.
You could be Wilson.
I want to be Wilson. Is it because of my eyes?
No, shaved head with a bald head.
I'm bald.
I can be just like a toucan in a tree.
With that nose.
So we have Kite as Tom Hanks, you be Wilson, and I'll be the toucan in the background.
Yeah, 100%. So there's this movie right there. I don't know who'd make the life raft though. I'm hopeless.
Yeah, someone fat.
This is how the locker room's organised.
Exactly.
Straight runs shows. Fox Sports has got me on hold.
Exactly.
They've got me on hold right now. It's killing me.
It's not as glamorous as you think, guys. It's really not. Where the locker room is, we're professional. We would never do this to our clients.
Sharks.
Are they on yet?
Saturday,
No, still on.
Fox Sports 1.
They're still previewing shows.
Yeah.
Both sides. Interesting, boys. No Sean Johnson. And he's
What about that, Sean Johnson after the season?
Massive loss for Warriors. I think that
Man, I love watching him play. Like to me, he's like the epitome of footy. Like he's just so good to just see him, the way he can tear teams apart, and just him and Vasicek, just ridiculous.
yeah,
So
mate,
good.
Their footwork's changed the game.
Oh,
Previewing him, yeah, you've got to watch so much video. But yeah, Sharks are going to make the 8 with this year. Looks
you
like
reckon?
It. I think with Johnson out this year, they'll win this week and they'll be in the 8.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And the crazy thing is, like, a month ago, the Sharks were literally nowhere near making the 8, as in people were thinking, their form and everything like that. And now they're what, 1-2 on the trot?
I think they've won more than that. They've just been playing good footy. Their forward pack's massive. So
Yep. Fafita will be a big loss. Okay.
in recent years known as the NRL salary cap auditor, but I tell you what, he was a great player in his day, and that's Ian Schubert. And,
Did he say Denon Kemp?
he was they played at Manly, but at Roosters, it was a terrific player.
Yeah, so the Sharks, the Fafita brothers, like, how crazy is that? I reckon there's more to that story, surely, with the Fafita brothers.
Look, there has to be, but I think I had a strong view on that. There's no room for the parents to do that, especially with referees coming up. It's so hard as it is to get refs to referee kids, and they'll get their punishment. But they're nice guys. I'm sure more went on. And they've been painted in a bad light.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys.
And we're back.
So, mate, you've been nominated this week, mate. At the moment, you're down for the nudie run. Are you confident? Look at that mustache. Mate, are you confident you can get off it this week, pal?
Yeah, I'd love to get off the nudie run. I think anytime you score a try is special, but yeah, hopefully I'll get it off this week.
Sowie, have you been close at all this year?
Have I been close to getting nude, getting off my nudie?
Yeah, no. Getting across the line. Like, has there been moments where you've gone very close?
Oh yeah, there's been moments. I think Brisbane, I got one taken off me. So yeah, there's been times, Brandy. But I'd be just happy to get the win. But if I can get a try, that'd be good.
Sowie, if you for some reason don't get off at the end of it, what part of the relay would you like to run in? Because I can organise. Would you like to be passing the baton to Richo? That means you'd be the final leg.
Yeah, I do have.
Would you be running in your headgear?
Oh, was that Hindy that asked that?
Fletch.
Oh, I was going to say I'll be running in my headgear in my 2010 Premiership ring. So.
We're just trying to try,
we got Para next week. I could get off it next week as well.
Well, Sowie, good luck for this week, mate, and hopefully you get off that nudie run. We won't see you nude next to Richo, mate.
Thanks, boys. Cheers. Thank you.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
I had to have a little jab because I always, having a jab at Hindy, so I have to protect myself.
You've got Hindy's got a few enemies now. I mean, he's been throwing it out to JT.
Yeah.
He likes a bit of banter, doesn't he?
He does. He takes it very well. I think, for a guy, such a legend of the game, what he did and how he played, I think he takes it very well, and he's a very funny man.
Yep, definitely.
Back to the real stuff.
Yeah, back to the real stuff. So we were talking about 2010. Walk us through it. Like, what was it like heading into the finals? The last kind of semi-finals, finals. The last kind of 4 or 5 games that you play.
Yep.
And you had this momentum. You'd already been in the finals last year, or in the semis last year.
We finished first, and then we went out in straight sets. So we lost, and then went to Brisbane and lost in 2009. 2010 we finished first again, and we lost 3 out of our last 4 regular season games.
Yep.
And then we had to play Manly on a Sunday afternoon, so it was 1 versus 8.
Okay, so you'd been there. You'd been in the position before of winning the comp minor premiers, and you had the momentum. What was the different feeling between 09 and 10? That really changed the kind of, took you from bowing out straight losses to winning the comp, and winning it not easily, but it was a convincing win of the comp that year.
Yeah, I think 2009, looking back, a lot of the guys, the younger guys were just happy to be there. I really felt that. Myself, I was like, we're going to win it this year. We finished first, minor premiership, doing the laps, everyone patting us on the back, and then all of a sudden we're playing in front of Suncorp, 50,000, and then you're playing against Lockie and the crew, so I made it hard, and they beat us that year. And then 2010 it was different. We came back, we were a lot more focused. It was like you had to, I guess, lose one essentially to win one, and we won. When we won that first game against Manly in the quarterfinals, and then the big game was the Tigers. It was a massive build up, and I remember running out, and the stadium was just packed. It was about 80,000. Came down and we got scored on early, and then it was 12 all and to and fro, and
that was wasn't that the one that went to Golden Point and they dropped it off the scrum or something like that? Or
we got that. Yeah, actually, Jeremy Smith made a tackle. Tigers fans will say he made it with his knees, but it was legit. And then we got the ball back, and we had a field goal set. We went down and nailed it with about 5 to go, and then they had a chance right on the bell to win it, but Darius cleaned up at the back, so. Once we won that game, I was pretty confident, and then the grand final week just took care of itself. It was an amazing week, and something that it's very hard to explain. And first time when I came to the club, everyone wants to know about that. That's all they want to know about is what it feels like, and that's why you play the game. You play the game with mates and to win rings.
So, I mean, obviously you've been asked this question a million times, but walking off that field, you've just won a grand final, which I'm sure is going to be the pinnacle of your life. Like, it really will be. What is the in-depth feeling that you're feeling, even the day after or whatever? What was the overriding emotion that you felt when you won that grand final?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because I've been asked it a different way before, but the scrutiny and the pressure that we were under as a team, I felt it was a massive relief for us. But as a player, I sort of felt like up yours. Like, I really wanted to stick it up everyone that had bagged me and said I couldn't tackle and can't play and can't do this, can't do that. And I'm like, you know what? Some of the best players to ever play the game have done and played, had amazing careers and never played in a grand final and never won one. And I've got one. And, I carried on a bit, and I was young, and I was just so happy to be there. But in that same instance, I was just, I lapped it up. I carried the champagne around. I wore my ring around. I got photos. I did that because that was my time, and it felt selfish at the time because but once you cop a lot of criticism, it wears away at you, and that was a massive pressure release for me, and that's why I got the tattoo on my arm, and that's pretty much why it's there.
So with the grand final, you talked about not getting back, but being bagged and even just constantly questioned. I feel like you've kind of been unfairly criticised by the media. What's that like for you when you kind of like, there's all these other 5'8" in the comp, there's all these other players in the comp, and yet you seem to get this target, like when you're going great, the media loves you, and then something might not go wrong, but you may be more passionate than other players and they seem to target you more. Is that frustrating for you? Like, is it frustrating going, like, as you said, you had a lot of questions about your defence or whatever, and yet I'm pretty sure you probably didn't miss the most tackles in the halves in the comp, like compared to other halves, and yet you seem to cop the criticism. What's that like for you with all the things that kind of seem to be focused on you when it comes to media? Yeah,
I think as I've gotten older, I've actually learned how to work with the media and understand they've got a job to do. But I seem to draw a lot of attention to myself. I'm emotional. I leave it out there. I think there's been times where I've acted and said stuff that I'm not proud of. But in saying that, this is my life. This is what I love. I've been fortunate enough and blessed enough to be able to do this, and I think everyone deserves that chance to be able to go out and play and do what they want to do. And I remember a time, I think we lost the buzzer in Canberra, and I walked off without shaking anyone's hand, and the media pumped it up like how arrogant, and players are how arrogant and all this, and I was like, you don't understand the next week what it's going to be like, that we lost on the buzzer, that it was near me, that it was happened like that. I got to go home, man. I won't sleep till 4 or 5 in the morning. I got to watch the game. I got to go in and watch review, and all that stuff comes down, and sometimes it gets on top of you, and you got to learn how to manage that, and that's how you become a professional player. But as I've gotten older, I've learned to bite my tongue a little bit more. But in saying that, at the end of the day, if I want to do something, if I want to do the Pistols, or if I want to say something, I'll just say it now, and I live with the consequences. And if people don't like it, then I don't really care. And I used to say I didn't care a lot, and I actually did. And now, as I'm older, I really couldn't give a shit. I don't care.
But the thing is, like the people, like, say you walked off the field, like you used an example of walking off the field and not shaking, the guy's hands. That other team wouldn't give a shit. Like, they'd just be like, oh, okay, he's obviously upset. They lost in the buzzer. Do you know what I mean? And yet the media pumps it up like these guys would be insulted. And yet the people that really matter, the other team, whether they were offended or not, I'm pretty sure most teams would be like, oh, whatever. They would understand that you're upset, you've just lost. And yet, like, if you try and, like you said, you watch what you say, but you still, like, even that kind of frustrates me a bit, that you say that you watch what you say, because I enjoy watching a passionate player. Like, I enjoy seeing a guy that is going to go out there and put everything out there. Like I was saying it to, I think it was Jeremy Lattimore last week. A guy like Hodges, I enjoy watching Hodges play. He goes out there, he's not a robot, and he plays exactly how he wants to play. I enjoy watching guys like Sandow play. He goes, and it's one of those things where, like, the media, they lap it up, but in saying that, they also kind of kill that urge to be passionate, because they're, putting heat on you for walking off. Like, clearly you can understand you walking off because of what has happened. Do you feel like in the game there has been a bit of it has stagnated the passion of players a bit, with the media being so ready to pounce on players? Yeah,
I think younger guys seem to be on TV a lot quicker, so they seem to layer up, and the old school guys don't like that, which is understandable, and I think you've got to find a nice mix there. But back to your point with the media, they're going to report what they want to report, and you can be emotional, you can be passionate. At the end of the day, you've got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and be happy with the person who you are. And if you're not that when you play and you come off and you're not happy, then you've got to fix yourself. So for me, I wasn't thinking about disrespecting the other team or anything like that. For me, when I play for the other 12 guys that are out there, and the fans that we have, and all the teammates and that have trained as hard as I have, and all that stuff. Because, I used to say, I listen to kids these days, and they play for their family, and they play for this and that, and they said, "Oh, who do you play for?" I said, "I play for myself." And they go, what do you mean? I said, I'm the one that got up every day.
Yep.
I'm the one that made the sacrifices. Yes, my mother helped me. Yes, I've been blessed I've had teammates and everything like that my whole career. But at the end of the day, excuse me, if I didn't want to do it, I wouldn't get out of bed.
Yep.
And if I didn't get out of bed, someone else would have wanted my spot. And there's someone out there that still wants my spot. So I do it for me, and I do it how I want to do it, because at the end, one day I'm going to be retired. No one's going to remember me, and I want to be able to say that I left it all out there.
It's funny that you say that, you do it for yourself, because, like, myself, when I was playing, I actually had a rule that no one was allowed to text me or call me on the day of a game, for this exact same reason, that this was me out there. I was the one out there. I didn't want to speak to anyone else. I had to get the job done, and I was doing it for myself. Even though you've got the support of your family, and obviously you wouldn't be there without people that care about you. But at the end of the day, it's you that is walking on that field. It's you that takes the heat, but it's you that also gets the glory. So I completely agree with the sentiment of, it really is for yourself, because, people that care about you would want you to do it for yourself if they really love you. So speaking of media and the crazy circus that has been this last week, Adam Goodes, Indigenous culture in Australia, it's such a hot topic, when in my mind it shouldn't be a hot topic. It should be just something we're proud of. The oldest culture in the world. I can't even remember a time, so speaking as a white person, I can't ever remember a time when there's ever really been like riots from any Indigenous people or anything like that. And yet, if you went to another country, the Indigenous population, they've rioted, there's been wars. The Indigenous culture we have here has fully accepted us and embraced us, and yet we still have this hot topic of about a guy, Adam Goodes, who is a proud Indigenous man, doing exactly what we were talking about with passion. I thought the war dance was cool. I thought it was so cool. I literally was like, that is awesome. We don't have enough of it in Australia sport. I think that more people should do it. Whatever your culture is, it doesn't matter. Just like express yourself. Can you talk about how you feel? You've copped it just as obviously not on as big a scale as this seems to be, but you've had a huge scale of media copping it and saying this, saying that. What do you reckon is going through Goods' mind at the moment?
Well, I think firstly we need to realise that we need to ask ourselves a question: are we bagging Adam Goodes because of his form, or are we bagging Adam Goodes because of something else?
Yeah.
And if you're bagging Adam Goodes because of his form, then the guy's played at the top elite level, has done everything he can in the game, and deserves respect
and
from every
with class too.
Exactly right.
He's never been like in the media, pissed drunk, whatever. You know what I mean? Like he's never done it. Like he's clean.
He's an Australian of the Year. He's held himself with the utmost respect, and he's been a leader of the Sydney Swans for a long time now. So, if we're talking about racism and you're bagging it because he did a war dance, which in Indigenous round of all rounds, after he kicked an amazing goal. I actually get goosebumps watching. I thought it was really cool. I was actually jealous because I can't dance like that. So. But I mean,
tried to, tripped over and hit my head. Nah.
But I mean, it's a question you've got to ask yourself. Am I going to the game? Yeah. When people come to the game, you can support your team. You can be angry at your team if they don't win. Form comes and goes. That's just how the professional sports go. But for a guy like Adam Goodes to be talked about in the vein that he's being talked about now is ridiculous, and it's a joke. And I think as a country, we should be embarrassed by it.
Yep.
I think we should be embarrassed by the way we are treating him. I think as an Australian of the Year and all the proud things that he's done and the proud Aboriginal man that he is, we should really be looking at ourselves and saying, ask yourself that question. Yep. Am I going to the game? Am I bagging him because he's not playing well? Because we all know Adam Goodes is a champion. Oh. We all know he's like I said, he's done everything. But if you're going there and you're actually going there for the other reason, then one, hand your ticket in and don't go, and two, have a good look at yourself in the mirror.
100%. I think that regardless of you can come up with all the excuses in the world of like, oh, he was just getting booed for form. Like, it's ridiculous. He is at the forefront of standing up for the Indigenous culture. He's positioned himself there proudly, and so that's what he represents. So it doesn't matter what you think you're booing him for. That's what you're booing him for. That's what he is. So I just think it's such a, in a way, I feel like he's kind of a martyr in the fact that it's good that it's happened because it's forcing us to really face this issue. Like, this issue obviously exists. It exists. If it didn't exist, he wouldn't be getting booed. Like, this wouldn't be happening. What I am sad about is our Australian of the Year is so upset about this. He's considering retirement. Like, how poor form is that we can push a guy that limit as an Australian? As an Australian, I see, mateship and a fair go, and I don't think racism doesn't live anywhere in that boundary. And we've got this guy that has literally sacrificed hours and hours of his time to better Australia. So, and that's not just talking about footy. That's talking about all the charity work he's done, and he's getting booed. Like, I think it's honestly, I'm kind of ashamed that it's happening in this country in today's day and age. Especially, it's the Indigenous culture is not. It's not a hard culture to live with. It's an accepting, open culture. There's no friction. They're open to our way of life, even though we came here from it. You know what I mean? It's just, well, I don't say we because obviously I was, but you know what I mean. Like, open to every way of life. And I'm to be honest, I'm also pretty. I don't like the way the media has kind of created that divide as well. They've played on it, and it's just shit form. Honestly, I hate it. But yeah, it's if we look at a silver lining, what I hope is that more people become aware of the issues because the thing is that as a white person, if you say racism doesn't exist anymore, you're using a reference point of maybe 40 years ago of, maybe that racism doesn't exist anymore, but different types of racism on a smaller scale, but still racism do exist. And just because it's not in your day-to-day life doesn't mean that it's not there.
Yep.
And so, I mean, I hope that it does make us ask some hard questions and get some positive answers, because it's pretty poor form. But Yeah, is there anything else you wanted to say on that issue at all?
No, I think we've summed it up. I think, we're all going to... Hopefully it comes to a head soon and we see Adam Goodes back on the field real quick.
I mean, what a shame. If he were to retire... Well, I mean, how... Fuck. Like, I can't even put it into words.
I don't think he'll retire. I think he'll take a week or two off and he won't go out like that. He's stronger than that. He's drawn a line in the sand, and I think every day that grows, with all the media and everything that's going on, he's finding that when he looks around, there's more and more people actually stand on his side.
Yeah, which is a good thing, a very good thing. Okay, so now you're at Penrith. We'll go to your journey. You're at Penrith now. You had a rough time with the Dragons. Tell me what that was like going from 2010 to 2012. And obviously, Wayne leaves. That's a huge loss. You know, obviously, you played your best footy under him. Started off really well with Pricey. And then everything kind of deteriorated from there. What was that like? A huge roller coaster. The top of the world, the pinnacle of your life, to one of the toughest times in your life.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, it's hard to explain. I mean, I left the club not on good terms. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to blokes I'd played 6-7 years with, blokes who I'd considered really, really good mates and still do. And at that time it was tough because I didn't know who to turn to, and I wasn't really, Wayne had gone, so I didn't really have that sort of coach that, understood me and understood my ways. But at the same time I was confused because I had a guy there who'd been there in the system and knew how I rolled and what I did and how I needed to be talked to and that kind of stuff. And always use the thing like, today's players are different. Some need cuddle, some need a bit of a rev up. Sometimes I need both, and at the same time, and it's hard. So it happened, and I left, and I left really quickly and moved to London for 3 months, and I had the best time of my life. I got really fat, and I played over there. I played at 97 kilos, and I had the high and tight, as they call it, which is like the line and the cover across. And I loved it. And you know what? It made me really appreciate it because those guys over there, some of them, or most of them, are amateurs. They still work. They're not on much money.
I didn't know that.
In London, and it was tough. And we played in a semi-final and got beat 70-0 on national TV. And it was tough. But the next day I woke up and I went into a meeting, and some of these guys still got to go to work, and I actually went to Poland. So I felt terrible that I went to Poland, but...
Felt terrible.
It just made me... Coming back, it made me realise that I can help younger guys understand the game more. That one thing that I regret that I never got the chance to do was say goodbye to the fans at St George. We rode the highs and lows together, but they were always there, and not to be able to. I mean, if you leave a club, you should be able to at least do a lap of honour. Yeah, and
especially if you're a 7-year veteran,
Well, 2010 meant a lot to a lot of people. They might not have liked me the whole 7 years I was there, and I accept that. That's fine. And I wasn't playing great footy when Wayne left, and I know that, but. You when you win a premiership and you're part of that team, you deserve something better, and that's something that will stick with me. And I am a Scorpio, so I'm a very bitter person. But that's something that I watched other guys that retired that year. Feensy and Michael Wayman was leaving, and Coops and that, and they all got the farewell. And I just thought, I just thought they would have at least invited me back to be able to say thank you to the fans, not make it about me and coming back, just to say thank you because. Like I said, 2010 meant a lot to a lot of people, and it was a massive, proud time of my life, and I want to say thank you. So everyone that's tuned in, thank you to all the Dragons fans. I appreciate all your support, and that will never ever change. And the tattoo's permanent, and that's why it's on my bicep. I play for another team now, but that hurts. I never got to say goodbye.
And the thing is, like, the way it kind of all panned out, it was as if you had done something like. I can't even. It's as if you'd done something extremely wrong to the club, like as if you'd been off field and got pissed and hit someone, or you'd been caught doing something stupid. Like you didn't really do anything wrong to the club, and yet they kind of just treated you like a leper. Like they just tossed you out, and it was like, you know what I mean? And it was it was kind of weird, but they positioned it like you'd done this like huge wrong to the club, and you deserve to be punished for it or something like that.
I think. Look, I mean. To be totally honest, I wasn't in great form, and my attitude probably wasn't great. I mean, we'd come off 3 pretty good years where we'd made finals every year, and we'd been in a side that had just pretty much dominated for a period of time there. And when you find someone that just can't handle you and doesn't, really, you don't work together great, that environment becomes toxic. And I was part of that environment, and I know I was a part of that problem, but I felt there was a chance for it to be fixed. Whether it be player or player driven or whatever, I felt there's a chance to be fixed, and it didn't. And it's upsetting, but at the end of the day, I left for greener pastures, and loved my time out here at Penrith.
So when you went to London, did you feel like it was kind of like you got back that love for footy again? Like you kind of, that romance that you did have with footy, it re-flourished. Is that kind of what London was to you, a reconnection with the game?
Well, I'll sum London up in a quick story. So I got my passport to go to London. I got on the last flight. I was supposed to fly business class, which they'd organised. And I got to Sydney, and they said, nah, there's just one seat left, and it's down the back. And I said, okay, I'll take it. So I stayed up to Dubai, which is 14 hours. Got there, rang my coach. He said, how you feeling? I said, great. They were trying to get me over because they wanted to take me to a game. I said, good. He said, oh, all right, we'll come pick you up. So I get there. So I have some sleep from Dubai to London or Heathrow, which is about 7 hours. I go off the plane. They pick me up at 6 in the morning. They drop me off the hotel. He comes and gets me, and he says, all right. He goes, get your tracksuit on. I said, tracksuit, what for? And he goes, we'll take you to the game, we'll show you around the thing. I said, I want my tracksuit. I said, I've got my boots in the bag. He said, you've just been on a 21-hour flight.
No way.
And he looked at me, it's Tony Ray, he'll be watching, I'll tell him to watch. He looked at me, he goes, you're not playing. I said, I didn't travel halfway around the world not to play. And he goes, but I said, I'm ready to play. And he goes, okay. So we go to the game, and I get a rub down, and I get strapped, and I'm learning the boys' names, and I'm quickly looking over the playbook, and all I'm thinking is, and I had a few Aussies come in, and they're like Michael Witt. You play with Michael Witt?
Yeah, Witty, yeah.
They're looking at me, they're like, you going to play? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to play. And they're like, okay. So I warm up, and I was trotting around. I kind of was running off adrenaline, right?
Yep.
And he goes, I'm going to start you from the bench. Yep. I'll never let him forget it. I said, what? So I got myself ready to play. You're going to start me from the bench? We were playing Salford. It was the bottom of the table clash. We needed to win to try and stay off the bottom. And
so, bottom of the table, and you were semi-finals by the end of it.
Yeah, we played in the Challenge Cup, so it was a different competition. But yeah, we had a chance. That's what I was over there for, to try and win the Challenge Cup. So we had the quarterfinal 2 weeks after. So he didn't want to risk me, and sat on the bench. It was 24-0, and I didn't even know the water boy's name. And I said, I said, hey, bros, and he goes, yeah, mate. And I said, where's the coach sit? And he goes, just up there. And I looked around, and I said, tell him to get me on. And so they put me on. We lost, but by the end of the game, I just I come in the sheds, and they just couldn't. I've always said, I'm not going to be the most talented player you play with. I don't. I'm not going to be someone that you tell your grandkids that you play with, but I love what I do. I'm passionate.
I think you do yourself a disservice, bro.
I'll leave it out there. So I got off the plane, played, and I went out, had a few beers with the boys, and they drink pints over there. It was warm beer, disgusting warm beer, but I found a couple of cold ones, and I went home, and the coach gave me a couple of days off, but he was happy. He was happy I played.
That's crazy, man. So that really does sum up, kind of getting your love back for the game. So getting back to Penrith, Phil Gould, who's one of literally the names of the game. He's synonymous with NRL. Everyone knows him. He's a mastermind of the game. How big of influence was he getting you to Penrith?
Yeah, I met Gus actually at a breakfast. I was nervous just going to meet him, but I actually knew that he was interested because he came and watched the Channel 9 game, and I seen him after the game, and he was hanging around, and I kind of guessed that he wanted to talk to me, and we had a meeting, and we talked about how long. He said, how long do you want to play for? And I said, I want to play for another 4 years. Thinking he'd say 3, and he goes, okay, I can do 4. And I said, all right. So we did that, and pulled out his iPad and went to show me all the facilities, and I just looked around. I wasn't really interested in the facilities, and I just wanted to get back playing good footy. And I asked him one question. I said, how long till we win a comp? And he said, he sort of looked at me and was like, "That's your only question?" I said, "That's it." I said, "That's my only question. I want to come out there and do good. I want to bring this amazing crop of young players that we've got out here, an amazing nursery that have won comps in the 20s and are playing first grade now. I want to bring them through to not just help them try and win a comp, but just teach them the ways of life in footy, because it's tough. It's, as you know, you have sleepless nights. You ride the roller coasters through the year from November to pretty much October, whether you're in the finals or not. It's a full-time job, and as you've seen tonight, I'm doing one show and I've got another show calling me in the middle. So it was an opportunity for me, and I thank Gus and Ivan for giving me the chance to do it, and I'm loving every minute of it.
So Ivan, he's a coach that, he was at the Warriors, and he took them to the grand finals 2011, and I think he did it as well in 2008. I think. As well, it's maybe 2008. Went to the Panthers, and he got another opportunity to really show that he was an NRL coach. What's it be like under him? Because he's really cemented himself as, yes, he is a good NRL coach. He's been at 2 clubs now, had success at both with different rosters. What's it like working under him?
It's great. He's a younger coach, so he understands his players, and I think the best thing about Ive is he really cares about his players, and he's a younger version of Wayne. And I came back from London. We actually did Kokoda track together.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So the first week I was back, and I fast forward a year, and I actually sat down, had a chat with him, and I said, "What do you think about Kokoda?" And he said, "The first time I saw you, I thought, how fat is he?" So, but yeah, I was pretty cool. He tells it how it is, and he's one of those guys that respects it. He's played the game, and for a guy to have the career he had and be able to have continued success in the top grade as a coach, even though this year's been tough, I think shows what kind of character he is.
And with the injuries now, you've had 2 back operations?
Yeah, I had 2 this year. So I went 10 years without a major operation. In the off season, I had right ankle done, pretty big spur removed, about the size of my thumb. Removed from the back of my foot. Jesus. And then I had a long-term back problem and had that done, and it didn't go right. So not many people know. We went back in and got it fixed, and it's been tough this year, Campy. It's mentally tested me, and I've found that as you get injured, you seem to pick up more injuries. Because you can't get the pre-season back, and you can't get time off back. And I had 6 weeks pretty much lying down, and apart from the mental state, the physical toll it takes on your body, not playing and not being able to work out and all that kind of stuff. So this year's been tough mentally, but we're hanging in there.
All right, so I wanted to your kicking style is so unique. You're obviously a great converter. You've scored over 1,000 points. How many points have you scored in it?
I think it's like 1,167 or something.
So what I wanted to do is for the fans is I wanted to show you a video.
Yep.
And I wanted you to talk through exactly what you're thinking and what the process is in your head when you're kicking. When you're converting, because obviously you've got an extremely unique style.
Yep.
So I'll show it to you now, and you just speak kind of. What are the words? What is the process? All that kind of stuff going through your head.
Okay, so obviously, first things first is lining the ball up on the tee. My style's changed a little bit since I've come to Penrith, but I think the first thing you're trying to think of is Larry Bird used to say, my favourite player used to say when he was shooting free throws is, if he was a good 3-point shooter, but he learned how to shoot by shooting free throws. So it's the same thing. So as I'm at the top of my march, I'm actually getting ready. I'm setting myself. Deep breath in just to relax. It's just like a golf swing. You come in and nice easy rhythm, and make sure you're exiting out through the ball. So the amount of kicks we do per year, I think it's like somewhere up around 4,000 kicks.
Wow.
And you might only have sort of 130, 140 shots if you're lucky. Through the year. So you're doing a lot of kicking for not much reward, I guess. When you look at a clip like that, and that was from in front and an easy kick and obviously time of the game, but it's all about repetition and doing something that you're comfortable with. And I think goal kicking for me has become a passion. So I've been able to enjoy goal kicking, and at the end of the day, sometimes it can come down to that kick.
Yep, definitely. When I was kicking, I had hip problems. Like an old man, I had hip problems because I was kicking too much. Freaking groin was killing me. All right, bro, we are way over time. Thank you so much for coming. This has been an awesome episode. Really appreciate it, bro.
Thanks, brother. It's been great to see you, man. And this show's going to take off, so make sure everyone tunes in. Respect Dan and doing his thing. So I appreciate your time, brother.